Hey guys, what's going on? Alpha here with another video. Today is Wednesday, April 26, 2017, and in this video, I'm going to be doing something I've never done before on my channel. We're going to be doing a live reaction to Call of Duty World War II, which will have its worldwide release here in about 3 minutes and 38 seconds. So I thought that, because everybody kind of had, does that now. There's this, just everybody's going to react to everything now. That's kind of what it is. And forever since the Modern Warfare 2 game, so back to 2009, every year they come out with the Call of Duty game, and I know, because it's always around NBA Finals, because that's when they run, the NBA playoffs, rather. They always put the ads for the new Call of Duty game, like the trailer is always in the NBA playoff, ad break or whatever. So it's always like this time of year when NBA playoffs are happening, which is the only way I remember that this stuff is going to be coming out. So I know that this time of year they usually announce the new Call of Duty, so I figured, I might as well check in on that. Found out Call of Duty World War II. I'm excited about that. We'll get into that in a minute. And so I found out the trailer's going to be coming out today at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So in just a few minutes here, this trailer is going to be coming out, and we'll be doing a live reaction. I actually have no idea how I'm going to even do this here. Really, hold on a second. So Call of Duty World War II. Let's go ahead and Google that. Oh boy. All right. I'm just going to go to the official Call of Duty website, and it says 2 minutes, 20 seconds right now. So worldwide reveal live stream, April 26, 10 a.m. Pacific time, Call of Duty World War II, and the time is ticking down here from 2 minutes. So I'm on the official Call of Duty website. A bunch of other things came up, and they said, like, watch it here, because everybody's just taking their stream and putting it on their site. Bunch of friggin' copycat bootleggers out there doing that. But I'm on the official site, so there shouldn't be any shenanigans here. So just overall impressions before I see the trailer. We've got a minute 50 seconds left. Just quick impressions. Good job, Activision. I said, if you go back to, there's a, hold on a second. I guarantee you, and not guarantee, I just remember doing it almost exactly a year ago. Maybe I just want to see when this video came out on my channel. I reacted to the Call of Duty space thing, whatever it was last year. So if you go back to a year ago, let me look this up. May 2nd, 2016. So it was, a little bit, so I guess they released it like a week from now, a year ago. So it was on May 2nd, 2016. I did a trailer reaction for the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which was the space game. As you can imagine, I think that that's kind of dumb. So everybody did. No one likes the space thing. It's just all cliched. It's too much space, too much robots, too much of that. And I didn't, and you can go back and watch that video. And I said in that video, I said they need to go back to the basics. They either need to go back to Modern Warfare or World War II. And it looks like they did World War II. So, hey, Activision, you finally listened. It took you a while. But, hey, you got to give them credit. They listened. It's, it took them a while. But I'm psyched. I mean, over this video right now, you're seeing this is Call of Duty World at War, Call of Duty 5 footage that I put up here. Just remembering, just to remember how good the good old days were. With Call of Duty. So anyways, I couldn't be more excited about the direction they're going in for this. And there's 9 seconds till the trailer comes out. I'm going to turn my sound off because that's going to be weird if there's like sound in the background. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Here's the trailer. 67 minutes. What the hell? Now it's okay. I gotta go. I want HD. This is very weird. Hold on a second. HD. Yeah, no. Okay, HD. Perfect. And full screen. There we go. So 27 seconds. I'm actually going to put headphones in. Hold on. Give me 1 second. So in the video, I'm not putting the actual Call of Duty trailer over it because of copyright. I don't know. Some people might try their luck at that. I'm not gonna. Switch sound to headphones. Here we go. 7 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's the trailer. Okay, so we've got the ESRB screen. Actual in-game footage. D-Day. So, by the way, you can pull up the trailer in another tab if you want to just keep pace with what I'm looking at. So, FDR is talking. Oh, that looks awesome. Holy crap, that looks awesome. Sledgehammer Games production. Oh, that's gory. Man, this just looks like the id of Activision. This is just Activision's id. That's what this game is. A little bit of Battlefield 1 vibe in this. Okay, so right now there's a tank. The tanks are going to attack. Okay, we got some planes. Okay, AA guns. This looks like single player. Well, it is single player. Great soundtrack. Okay, so we got some cliche dramatic stuff about orders. This looks so right now it's just a bunch of people getting whacked here. Tell them what we're all about. No sacrifice too great. Okay, so now we're just seeing just tank. Just kind of like tank porn here. And that's it. All right. November 3rd. And now they're showing, so now they're having like this whole event where they're going to talk about it. Okay, I can't listen to this guy. I'm shutting this off. All right, so let me close that down so I'll give you my reaction to this. So they used to have, and it just kind of shows you how much things have changed. They used to have, oh, and by the way, it was like live while I was watching it, so I kind of, didn't mention it as much as I would have. But definitely pull up the trailer in another tab and sing it. I would put it in mind. I know other people are probably going to do it. It's just a copyright. Activision, when it comes to copyright, don't screw with Activision with their copyright. They enforce the hell out of that. They will take you out if you screw with them. They're just one of the companies that like they'll they take videos down. They're just not cool with people putting their stuff up, so that's just kind of the way it is. So other people might try it, they'll get their stuff taken down. I'm not doing it. But anyways, if you go back to when the trailer started, you can, pull it up in another tab and you can kind of see what I'm seeing. So just reactions to that. First thing, but first I just want to emphasize, great job, Activision. So I think in the video last year, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I think the overall feeling, and I think it was most people's feeling, is that you wanted to see them either go back to Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2 or like that whole thing, or World War II. The space thing, and maybe I'm more angry about it than I sound, but I don't know. I try to be more proper, and I think a lot of people are when they kind of react to this stuff. And also I think a lot of people just kind of yell. I mean, not to toot my own horn, I went to business school. I kind of understand how this all operates, so I don't get as angry and as, pissed off at these companies for doing what they do with these games, because I understand how it works. So, like, for instance, one of the things people don't really understand is how long it takes to make one of these games. So what happens is, by the time you decide, all right, we're making this game, so by the time you're able to bring it to market, the market has changed a lot, especially with video games, because it's something that just really fluctuates and trends come and go, and what's popular comes and goes. So I think they said they started working on this game like 3 years ago or so. So in 3 years, by the time the game comes out, you don't know what it's going to be. You don't know what people are going to want. You don't know what other games are going to be out. I mean, you have an idea of where things are going. But what happens is, by the time the game comes out, something that would have been popular back when you came up with the idea, if you factor in all the time it took to actually make the game, by the time it comes out, people don't want it. So that's kind of one of the things you have to keep in mind. So if you think about, so I'm just assuming it takes about 3 years to make the games, because that's typically what they say. So last year, the game just flopped. It bombed. It was horrible. And I never played it, but I'm just taking other people's word for it. Was the Infinite Warfare, the space game people hated. So that came out in 2016. So assume that Activision, or who was it, Infinity Ward, I guess, thought, all right, well, we're going to make this game, but they had to have thought of it in, I don't know, like 2013 or so to start working on it and get the thing done. 2013, it's right around, I don't know, what was going on. There was Halo stuff. Titanfall was going to be coming out shortly thereafter. So back then, that sort of space thing seems like, yeah, let's do that. And then obviously, by the time it comes out, there's just too much of that and people want something different. So what I said last year, what I think a lot of people said, is either go back to Modern Warfare or go back to World War II. And so it looks like they went back to World War II, and you have to give it to them. They finally listened, but you need to understand, not that I'm, overly sympathetic with these companies, but you got to understand that it's not like you just snap your fingers and the game comes out. That's not how it works. And I'm sure other people have gone on and on about explaining that, but I think it's just important context to be talking about this. And so the World War II game is finally here. It's finally, what we want. It's going to be coming out this November. And I'm excited for it in a weird way that I'm happy about, because I haven't been, I don't know. I mean, I do a lot of the GTA, and let's just be honest here. I mean, I think for most YouTubers and a lot of people that I talk to that do this, there's just sort of been, what's the right word? Not boredom, but just kind of like, like there's just been this it's like, yeah, what is it? Another, okay, let's make a video. You know what I mean? It's just, there's no, it's not what it once was. So if you think back to, or at least for me, I guess, definitely Call of Duty 4, 5, and then Modern Warfare, and then Bad Company. There was some Halo. They're like that sort of 2007, 8, 9, 10 time frame, I think, was just a great time for games. And so, Xbox Live was awesome, and it was just everything. It was because it was new in a weird way. It was just kind of like this. It was interesting, because you could never do that before. Like those games, nobody had ever played a game like that before. And so it was interesting. And so it's kind of happened between, say, 2011 and really now. Not only has there been this sort of, this consolidation and the subjugation by, large companies that are buying out other companies. And, with the Xbox One, everybody hated that because it's like too... Corporate's a dumb adjective to use, but you get the idea. There's just that inspiration that there once was has really been lacking in a lot of these games. There's just these cookie cutter corporate, just stamping them out, same thing. And so I think that whatever that is, however you want to define that, really hasn't been there. I mean, GTA 5 is awesome, but other than that, just, and I'm sure there's other games that people like, but I've always had a special, I don't know, interest for Call of Duty, because that's kind of where I got started playing games, and it was just like the new thing. And so that kind of fell from grace in the sense that really with, I don't know what, like kind of Black Ops 2 and then the Ghost, which you probably, name one character in any of those games, right? There's just no one cares because it's the same thing they just kept making, and it's, I don't want to keep boring you to death with that, but it looks like finally we're going back to, for a lot of people, I think just psychologically, when you see a game like Call of Duty World War II, you think, oh, I remember that. Remember World at War? Remember zombies? Remember, sound like the member berries on South Park there. But it makes you think back to, and again, I don't mean to sound ridiculous, but it makes you think back to a time when this stuff was fun and it was good, and it wasn't just all about DLCs and microtransactions and all this, corporate, arbitrage that goes on. And so I like that. I like seeing, everybody likes nostalgia. Everybody, it's honestly, if you've ever studied marketing, one of the most powerful marketing tools is nostalgia, because everybody is sentimental and empathetic and really reveres, I think, their childhood. Really, if you ever ask anybody, what was the best time, the year that they'll tell you is pretty much across the board. Everybody will say, whenever it was that they were a kid, right? So for a lot of people who are, if you think about it, kind of coming of age now, that are, I guess are adults now, or at this point are just kind of became adults, you can kind of see how there's this just generational reverence for, that World War II, kind of like that old school nostalgia of the early Call of Duties and the early Battlefields, and that's what makes that popular, is you see all this, kind of, these iffy cookie cutter games, and it makes you think, well, remember this, remember that. And so, good job on their part, giving us what we want. So with that being said, just with regard to what I saw in the trailer, first of all, and I mentioned it there while I was watching the trailer, that is absolutely the id of Activision. Now, when I say, if you don't know what that means, if you've ever, I don't know, like a psychology degree as well, and so your boy Alpha did a lot in school, I guess, I don't know. But if you've ever studied, Freud, there's the ego, the superego, and the id. It's this theory that, just with regard to what's considered to be your id, it's this part of your psyche that is your, how do I say this in a way people are gonna kind of get, because this is a gaming. This is not Khan Academy. I understand that, but I guess you can understand it as the part of yourself where your deepest and rawest wants and desires, I guess. So it's kind of your unchecked, I don't want to say, if I say lusts, that's too strong. I don't mean that. I mean, probably is the wrong connotation. But what just kind of deep down what what gets you going. And I think for Activision, this is it. World War II and the World War II Call of Duty games 1, 2, 3, 5, and by some extension some of the Black Ops stuff with the Vietnam. Just that's their bread and butter. That's Activision. This is what they make. That's how they got started. Not Activision, but I guess it was Infinity Ward and Treyarch. Just that whole triumvirate of companies there. This is them. This is their this is what they do. And so when you're seeing the trailers, whether it's the soundtrack or the score, which is what I was listening to, which was quite good. I think they took a lot from Battlefield 1, a lot of orchestrals, a lot of vocals, a lot of just kind of that, how do you say that? Just that really just a lot of, sort of opera vocal, it's not like in World at War and the other Call of Duty where it's like this, loud, electronic music. No, it's this almost kind of, if you saw, what was it, Saving Private Ryan, like that sort of very somber, very humble, very respectful soundtrack. And so in a lot of ways, that was one of the things I noticed is the take that they have on World War II, and it's kind of, a lot of it's kind of similar to DICE's take on World War I and Battlefield 1, is you've noticed there's this reverence and there's this respect that I don't think that World at War had or the World War II Battlefields had, to the extent that now it's not just about, hey, this is a game where you can run around and do stuff. Now it's more of, like we're telling a story, and maybe that's too, I don't know, too optimistic, too generous maybe. But you definitely get the sense that they're trying to go about, like they're trying to do something extra here. They're not just trying to make another game. They're trying to somehow, and of course, if you had Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, and 5, and a bunch of other games about World War II, there's going to be something different about this one. But there is this sort of, I don't know, a somber thing that's going on there. And I've noticed that in movies too. So if you think about, what was the last big World War II? I don't know, there's probably a more recent one, but for some reason I'm thinking of Fury. Oh, Hacksaw Ridge. I think Hacksaw Ridge is the most recent World War II movie. What was Hacksaw Ridge about? I won't spoil the whole thing, but there's a very religious kid. He doesn't want to use guns in the war, and he goes around just rescuing people. No guns, almost gets killed. Fury, a few years ago, same thing. Religious, adolescent coming of age story about, the kid doesn't really, isn't, doesn't really support violence, but then things happen, and then the yada yada yada, the hero's journey and all that. And if you contrast that with, I don't know, like even go back to like 2009 or so when they were making all these games that I alluded to earlier, you got like Inglourious Bastards, just really just a, I don't know, just a comical, embrace of violence in a way. And I think that all of a sudden now, because, people are more politically correct now for better or for worse. And so you see that's definitely there in this trailer. And maybe I'm too verbose, maybe I'm too, like I said, this isn't Khan Academy, but I definitely got that vibe. And so obviously with this trailer, there's no gameplay, it's just cinematics and all that, and just kind of visuals and audio and all that, so it's really all we have to go on. But I did notice a few things in particular with respect to gameplay. There was definitely an emphasis on vehicles, so there was quite a bit of time. I think it was probably, 30, 45 seconds long, I didn't keep track. A lot of focus on tanks. Maybe, I don't know, almost half of it, there was footage of a tank in there, and people using the guns on a tank and the cannon on a tank, and just a lot of that. They really wanted to make, I mean, of course, World War II, there was a lot of that, but it was like to the extent that they want to really focus in on that, where that's going to be a feature of this game, I guess. Like, they really wanted to highlight that. Planes as well, kind of trying to keep, and of course, Call of Duty's never really been about vehicles, but, they're doing that. I don't know if it's to compete with Battlefield, or maybe that's going to be a part of this, or I don't know what the story is, but there was definitely focus there. Focus on story and plot and characters and emotion, I think, definitely, and we kind of alluded to that. So there was that. With regard to gameplay, it reminded me a lot of World at War, and of course it's the same war, so it's going to be a lot of, crossover there. But the feel of it, and this might sound dumb, but if you mixed Call of Duty 5 with Battlefield 1, you'd kind of get that. Like, it's like better graphics, better investment in the story and the plot and the feelings and all of that version of Call of Duty 5. Kind of felt like that. So there's definitely that element to it. They didn't give us a lot to go on in terms of gameplay. There was nothing about multiplayer. It's just, you know, as they always do, the multiplayer typically comes out, I don't know what, like in July or August or whenever they do. They used to have this big event. It was called Call of Duty XP that I would like sit. This was in 2010. I remember sitting here and watching it for the Black Ops. Like, oh, look at that. This would be a thing. This was back when people used to order. They had like the advanced edition that came with night vision goggles or whatever it was. People would go wait in line for that. Now nobody gives a damn. Neither do I anymore, but there was that. So you notice, I mean, I think in the end of the video where I kind of shut down because, you know, screw what they have to say, there was like the guy on the stage, little room. Like, it used to be this whole big friggin' Disney World type of thing. And you see they've kind of backed off there. But yeah, so the multiplayer that'll come out at some point. The multiplayer has really supplanted single player. At one point, you know, it was a long time ago, but campaign was really what people did. Now it's all multiplayer. I mean, there's people who just play multiplayer. I don't. I play the campaign, so it's just, you know. I even think more so now, because now there's a lot more of an investment in campaign. Years ago, it just used to be, okay, go here, shoot this, go there, shoot that, and then people, you know, go play multiplayer. Now they're really trying to make it a story. Like, it's a friggin' movie, big cutscenes and all that. So they definitely invest a bit there. Now, in terms of multiplayer, and, you know, I think I've said more than enough about what we saw in terms of single player. Just going off of that, in terms of what I'd like to see in the multiplayer, I think the better thing to say is what I don't want to see. And I mean this with all the, you know, propriety that it's due. I don't want to see dumb shit in the multiplayer of this. I really am hoping that they can rise above the dumb, just, yeah, like the quick scoping, just, yeah, like the 7th grade kids yelling friggin' voice crack into the micro, just that whole, yeah, whatever that is, please don't do that. Like, I want more Call of Duty 5 in less, like, the last, like, you know, like 5 years. That's what does that make sense? Like, I want more, you know, traditional, you know, rock'em sock'em, trench fight, gun, run, shoot, train, plane stuff, unless, you know, 360 rooftop, jump shot, no scope, trick, gun, whip, shoot, you know, Twitch stream, Twitter, GIF meme thing. Does that sum? I mean, that sounds absurd, but I'm hoping that sums up what I'm saying. Like, I want just more. I just want it to be fun, just simple. That's what I want. I think simple's the word. I want simple. I don't want to sit here and have it, you know, like just all it. Oh my god, all the crap, all this, because you know they're doing the DLC. I hate DLC. Oh my god, how much I hate DLC with a passion. I hate microtransactions. I hate fake currencies like the what was it used to be, like the CoD points or the unlock points or the GTA monies and other just dumb things because they want you to. What happens is there's a lot of psychology that goes into like Uber, for instance. They kind of use the same thing where it's about risk and reward, essentially trying to figure out how they can get, because they don't want you to pay $60 for the game. They'd rather give you the game for free and then have you pay a little bit every month. That's why every app now, like years ago with game apps, they all used to cost money. Now they're all free because they want you to have to pay a little bit every month to get coins to play more of the game, because they want a continuous revenue stream, which I hate. I hate that. I mean, good for them. They want to make money, but the way they do it, by taking advantage of kids that are 13 and 14 and this, I'm getting mad thinking about this because I know this is how it works. What they do is they figure out, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you, and it's the same thing casinos do. They're going to say, all right, well, if we give you just enough, we'll give you like this many points, but to get an even better weapon or a better thing, if you just buy a little bit of points with your parents' money, of course, we'll give you, it'll be a little bit better. We'll give you another map. These maps, they can shit these maps out, right? These maps, there's a guy in some office building in California or wherever just copy and pasting things to make a map. Like they take 5 minutes and do not give a shit about making these maps. But they'll charge you $20 for them like it's this amazing thing. Anyways, I despise that. So please, but they're gonna do that. But if you're gonna, because that's what they do. I'm not paying for them. I'll tell you right, I'm not paying for any of that. It's dumb. I hate it. Not really hate that. I hate the tactics. If you want to sell the maps, sell the maps. But don't, sit here and, well, here, if you get 3 more coins, then you can come over here and you can unlock some of this and this. Screw that. I hate that. But anyways, so there's that. I get angry about that. But so there's probably nothing you can do about that. That's a corporate, revenue investing thing that they're gonna do. Because they got to tell, they have a call that happens this is how a business works. So a public company, they got an investor call every year. They file what's called a 10K annual report with the Security Exchange Commission in the United States. And they call their investors and they say, this is what happened last year. This is the trends. This is it's called a, what's it called? It's called a, what is it? There's like a report. It's got the threats, opportunities, and weakness, whatever it is. I think it's called a SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And they go through all this stuff and they talk about, okay, this quarter we think we're going to get this much money and we're doing this, we're doing this. And these investors, if they're not making any money, they just all sell their stock and the stock goes down and the green grass grows all around. CEO gets fired, or the board gets rid of him. They bring in a new guy who cracks the whip, makes a bunch of games you hate that make a ton of money, and that's why everything kind of sucks in 30 seconds or less. So, they're going to do some of that because it's Activision and that's what they do. But I'm hoping that, and EA does it too. Now they really didn't used to do that, but now they really go overboard with that. And that's just my inner distaste for that type of thing. But just with regard to multiplayer, they're going to do that. But other things they hope they don't do, like those dumb player card things. Like, those... They started it with the Black Ops game where you can design a player card and everybody just kind of like design some sort of obscene thing for that. And just the yelling and the mic and the stupid game modes and the memes and the quick scoping and the 7th grade crap that I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't like that. Like well, I mean, then again, that's who's playing the games for the most part. But at the same time, how long have I been going? Oh my God, it's like almost half an hour I've been going on about this. You know what I'm saying? So like I just want to play. Like, and it's, excuse me. I know it's not realistic. I always hate when people say, it's not realistic. It's a game. Just play it. And then, you come home from work, you blow off steam and you go do it. It's not supposed to be. It's fun. Just play it, right? There's that, but at the same time, I don't like the dumb stuff. Like the videos that they make of like jumping off a roof, 360 snipe thing, like just that. That's the thing. I don't like that. That's the quick scoping, sprint, dive, tank, just all that. I just hate that. So I hope they don't do that. I hope there's no look, Call of Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2. Just look at that. You did it right, Activision, Infinity War. Where is this? Infinity War now? Is this Sledgehammer Games? I don't know. They did it right then. Just do what you did then. Just do that. It was great. Just do it the same way. You don't need ridiculous things. You're on the right track. You've got the right genre. We want to play that again. We don't want to be, rocket boosting off of buildings and just no one likes that. It's dumb. We just don't like. No one wants it. Nobody wants it. And so just don't do that. Just come on. Just don't. Oh, God, just don't. I need a freaking drink. That's what I need. Hold on a second. Oh, man. All right, so this is water, by the way. Don't get any ideas. So yeah, just don't do it. Just make the game fun. I want to go on. I want to play, like, capture the flag. I like Demolition was I think that's my favorite all-time Call of Duty mode was Demolition. Hey, I'll tell you right now, Modern Warfare 2, just tell you a quick story. Modern Warfare 2, Demolition on Terminal, which was the airport map, early 2010, Monday afternoon, Monday night, with all your buddies, it was like the greatest. I remember it was so much fun playing that. Because, you remember we used to go... you know, we take the riot shields and we like try to like get in front of the door. Like there was a strategy that you had, and you'd think like you'd talk about how you're gonna do whatever it is, and people would get into it then because people enjoyed it. And mwah, like that's it. That's what they need to do. Whatever that is, however you do that, that's what we want. That's what we need. We need more of that, and we need less, you know, dumb rocket jump. None of that. And of course, because it's a World War II game, so there's just not going to be that. But at the same time, like Battlefield 1, they kind of made up some fictitious stuff, and that's fine. And it's a game, they have to do that. World at War, they didn't have to do that. I mean, for the, well, actually, no, some of the scopes, like the aperture sight or whatever that is, and I think World at War, some of that was kind of made up. But like World at War is another game that was fun. Like we used to go on, what's the map, like Cliffside, I think. We used to play all right, so another quick story. So World at War, we played this in like early 2009. We were doing this. I remember me and my buddies again. I remember this was back before Donald Trump was the president. He had that Apprentice show, which I don't know, maybe you're too young, so I don't know who's watching this, but if you're too young to remember, that was and of course, Donald Trump. You got to understand, like this was before he was president, before he said any of this. This was a different time, different person, different all that. So back then he had the show. It was called The Apprentice, and it was one of the most watched shows in America. When it first came, it was very popular because there had never been a show like that. It's kind of sort of like Shark Tank. It was just he had like a bunch of people came, like a contest to work for him. And there's a bunch of challenges, and he fire people, and it was funny. You know, this was back then, and it was just that's what people watched on TV. And I remember we go on and we play that World at War, and then like that would come. I was like, all right, I gotta go watch this, and so I got up and watch Apprentice because it was awesome. Obviously that's over now, so kind of I guess like Shark Tank is the closest thing I like. I love me some Shark Tank. I'll tell you right now, great show. Anyways, remember we used to go on and play. It was Capture the Flag on that whatever the Japanese map was. It's just Japanese map. That's what it was. It's just like the Palace map or whatever. And we played Capture the Flag. It was the most fun because like people would have like a strategy and all that, and it was simple and it was fun. And I think that's what we want to see. We need more of that, and it looks like they're on the right track. So. You know, hold on. Golf clap. We're gonna give Activision. You get a golf clap for that. We're not. You could still disappoint us here. So we're golf clap. All right. Well, I think I've said more than enough. I think about more than people want to hear about this. So that's that. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you enjoy. I don't know. Hope you enjoy. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you disagree, I'd love to see what you think. If you agree, yippee. And just let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe to see more and that sort of thing. But other than that, until next time, that'll do it for this one. Thanks for watching.